Hi, guys. Welcome to Central PA Pour. We have Kevin to my right on studio.
Back in studio again.
Ooh,
Two in a row.
I was going to say 2 in a row now. No vacation this week.
No vacation.
We got Bret to his right.
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah,
Always
you're
here.
It's different now. I'm doing the banter this time.
It is. It's a
That's
little
good.
It's different. And then
Right.
now we got Dave.
Yeah,
on
it
to
is.
his right.
Save the best for last. Yep.
The best and the prettiest.
Yeah. Of
Well,
course.
don't forget about the guest here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can't
Well-
forget about him yet. We have a great guest in studio
Well, it's just
today.
you're just the voice off the screen. We don't even see you.
Yeah, not yet.
No, that's
No,
fine.
don't worry, we're
Keep me
getting
off.
there.
I'm not a pretty mug, I can tell you that.
Well, it is Veterans Day.
Yes, as we're recording this, it is Veterans Day, so happy Veterans Day to all you, Kevin. Happy
Yeah.
Veterans Day.
Thank
Dad,
you. You as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Very-
And not just today, but thank a vet every day because of their sacrifices and their willingness to be that 1% of the population. We are able to do this kind of stuff that we're doing.
Oh, it is, and it's great because it's the freedom we have to do the stuff we have here, to brew, to drink it, and then we're here to talk about it.
Yeah. So, thank your freedoms of where we're at in today's society for the veterans. And we've often said this. Our freedoms in this country was built on the backs of 18, 19, and 20-year-olds.
Absolutely.
It is.
So, and our guest today is actually a retired vet.
He
so
is.
we can't wait to bring him in. But check us out on the social media,
Yep. Check us out on Hopped Up as well.
Hopped Up Network.
And we gotta thank you for them.
Yep. Give us a like, subscribe wherever you get your listening platforms and Spotify and all that, and on our YouTube channel. We love doing what we're doing.
Yes.
Ben did a pretty good job bringing us in.
I am very happy and cheerful today because, as you can see, I got my Ravens on today.
Oh, God.
2 in a row.
It's a fucking crow.
It's a bird still. It's a bird.
I thought it was a vulture. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you
wings
also
fly.
were just at the Penn State game.
I
where
was.
They
That was-
almost freaking
Yeah.
had it. What's that commercial? That was that old guy in that fishing gear. Oh,
That's
you almost had it.
Gotta reel him in. That was a good game.
This gray beard didn't come from having sons like Ben. It came from rooting for Penn State football. That's where the gray comes from.
Anyways, let's.
That's
Let's welcome our guest.
That's
today.
your burden to carry. I'm
That's
sorry.
my burden to carry. Yeah, I know. You and I go at it because you're a
Yeah.
Pitt
Not a Pitt. I'm a Pitt alumnus.
alumnus. That's right. You were in the band.
Yeah, I was there.
All right. Hey, let's welcome in our guest here. Hey, welcome to the Central PA Pour.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Give us your name and who you're with.
All right, I'm John Porter. I'm the head brewer at Center Square Brewing. We are located in Abbottstown. We're at the Allen House. That's what everybody knows, the Allen House. So I'm the dirty troll down in the basement making the beer.
Dirty troll.
Well, that's right. You got to have the beard. I'm dirty. Nobody pays attention to me if I'm walking around. They just know who I am. I'm like, just stay out of my way. Stay out of my stuff.
Well, you're also a retired jarhead.
That is true. That is true. So
Thank you.
Like I said, happy Veterans Day to all those out there, especially the ones that are abroad right now.
Yes. When you and I talked at your Oktoberfest,
We did. We had
and then I reached out and you're like, dude, it'd be cool just to have a few beers and record on Veterans Day.
yeah, it gave me an excuse. Gave me an excuse to get out and have some beers on Veterans Day. So when I saw it, you gave me the dates. I was like, okay, we got to do Veterans Day. I got to talk about the veterans. Got to talk about the service and the sacrifices the guys are making right now, because we still are, even when we're not necessarily at war. There are soldiers, sailors,
Absolutely.
airmen, everybody out there all the time.
Well, I think let's all raise a glass
Absolutely.
and we'll salute our veterans and our current military personnel. So, hooah,
Ooh,
Rah! Semper
cheers.
Cheers.
God bless him.
I do gotta ask. Did you get
please.
your free donuts or free food today?
They brought donuts to the brewery, so I had one of those. But I did go out and my youngest, was like, "Hey, Dad, there's a Chipotle. Buy one get one free. Let's go get some Chipotle." I was like, all right, I'm gonna go drink some beer. I better get some grub in my gut.
I got time.
Yeah, exactly.
So when they brought the donuts, did they open up the gate to let the troll out?
No, they don't even tell me. They just leave the crumbs. It's like little breadcrumbs going to where the food is, and I find it.
Hey, they brought donuts, but they're all sucks for you.
They know better. Sometimes they leave, steaks out, and I'm like, yeah, that's gone.
Yeah. Right.
So tell us a little bit about the history of what got you into being the head brewer at Center Square.
It's a long story. I mean, obviously, I was in the military. I was in the Marine Corps for 22 years. I retired in 2019. I was an avid home brewer. I started approximately about 11 years ago. I started in the brewing. So I was drinking a lot of beer, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, we are born in a bar, if you didn't know that. So the Marine Corps was born in Tudd Tavern, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is where we started. So
250 years ago.
250 years ago. Yeah, yesterday.
Yes, I was going to say in a day.
Yeah. Yeah. So decided when I retired that I was like I just don't want to do I did all the hard stuff. I was in the infantry, so I did I wasn't just playing Marine. I was a Marine. So at my time to retire, I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? That's always the question. I was like, well, I'll try school. So actually, we moved up here to Pennsylvania. My wife's family's from the area, so they're from Abbottstown. They lived here, and her grandmother just passed away last year, 94, I think she was.
Now, where are you from?
I'm a mutt, so I'm from everywhere. I was born in Southern California. I lived in northern Jersey. I went to high school north of Atlanta. I'm from not a military family either. My dad was in the chair force back in the 60s, but he was in IT, so it was just his job.
Okay.
We'll play that Johnny Cash song. I've been everywhere, man.
Yeah.
That's been me lately.
Yeah, that's you.
So when I got out, I was like, okay, I'll try school. So I started actually enrolled in Hack. Was going to Hack, and hated it every day. My wife was going to Hack as well, and it was just misery for me.
What were you taking up?
I was just doing basics at that point. I know they had a program for brewing, and when I looked at the curriculum, I was like, okay, I'm way beyond this. I mean, I guess I could have took it for a credit, but I was like, just keep going. And at that, probably about 6 months out, my wife was like, okay, you're miserable. It's like, you need to find you a job. I said, yeah, I do. And she's actually the one that found me a job in Harrisburg working at a brewery.
Okay.
Said name brewery, I won't talk too much about them. They went bankrupt last year. Not the greatest of blood between me and them, but
Is that the vet? I
taught you about it. I think
I know which one it is.
Yeah. So once that job kind of went away, I ended up having to find a job real quick, and there was a military Marine-owned brewery down in North Carolina, like where I just came from, down near Camp Lejeune, called Salty Turtle. So they were like, yeah, come on down. It's your job. It's your job. So I ended up being an assistant brewer or a cellarman, kind of back and forth between cellar, doing the cold side, doing all the grist, grinding all the grain for them, moving all the product. That's where I kind of learned cleaning tanks and doing SIP and CIP.
Cut your teeth in the business.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So that's what I was doing all the grunt work for them, and and really learned a lot. And it was probably 3 years ago. Things were going okay, but I knew I wanted to kind of spread my wings a little bit. And my wife found the position at the Alden House, and she's from Abbottstown. So drove on up and talked to, as I told you before, I talked to Sarah, the former head brewer, and she's like, yeah, you got the job. And moved up here and actually worked here for 2 years, and my family was still in North Carolina.
Wow. I tell you what, it's a short span to get the opportunities that you just have described.
Yeah.
That's a short amount of time, less than 5-6 years. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I wanted to do. So, I mean, I knew I had to jump on the opportunity. Even though the job I was working at in North Carolina was great. People were amazing. The company was awesome. They're still doing really good.
That's the thing. With any field that you do, there's no secrets, but you're always learning a new technique, just something that helps that beer
Absolutely.
just a little bit more.
I got a funny story about that, actually. So head brewer. His name was Chad Brewer. His last name was Brewer. He doesn't work for the company. I think he's in Oregon Brewing now. But I asked him one day. I was like, right when I was about to leave, I was like, hey, Chad. I was like, you have any advice for me? Like, what's your advice? For going to a head brewer position. He's like, fake it till you make it. I was like, and at first I was like, damn, man. I was like, could you give me some more? Like, is there be something else? And actually, it was probably the greatest thing you could have told me. Yeah. Because I just came in and I said, once you kind of get into it and you start talking to people and you know more than they do, nobody can really talk down to you. So,
right.
So it's like I said, that's what kind of makes me that basement troll that just let me kind of do my thing. And so, which is awesome. That's what you want as a brewer, is you want to be able to kind of do your art and not really have too many hands in the pot telling you what you can and can't do. So, and the company that I work for, as long as the beer's flowing and the kegs are moving, that's all they ask for.
All they worry about is the bottom line.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess are the recipes that you're brewing from previous brewer, or
Yes.
are some of them yours?
It's a combination.
Okay.
So there's like core beers that we make, whether it be our 1763 Vienna Lager, our Lincoln Way wheat, our wheat beer. They have Doggone Abe, which is an American IPA. And they have some other small batch stuff that they had to list the recipes in there. I ended up modifying every single one of the recipes. Not for not against them. A lot of them were really written like homebrew recipes, very minuscule amounts of this grain and that grain.
And you got to scale it to hit a system.
You have to scale it up, and when you scale it up, I'm using 55-pound bags, so I'm going off poundage, not ounces.
Right.
And they'd have 14 pounds, 9 ounces. I'm like, no, you make it 15 pounds. Or vice versa, because you're not going to really gain color. You might gain a point in gravity, if that. But it's just much easier to do on a larger scale. So because I'm a one-man show, so I'm doing all the the ordering of grain, the moving of grain, the milling of the grain, cleaning, all the CIP, SIP, brewing, kegging, delivery of the beer.
Wow,
everything.
you are the troll in the basement.
I'm a one-man show. So and that's when I was hired on, that was kind of how it was. Like you're alone and unafraid. And I'm like, well, good thing, my service. And I'm not afraid of the dark, and I'm not afraid of a haunted hotel, because they're exposed to those stories about the Altland being haunted since it's was built in 1763.
Yep.
So I guess tell us a little bit about the Altland House and where it's at.
So it's in it's one Center Square. You can't miss it. It's right off of 30, going through basically from York to Gettysburg. You can't miss it. You're going to go, it's basically the first traffic circle you're going to hit. And the next one after that's going to be New Oxford or Carlisle Road, next to Hanover. So kind of right over by Hanover, in between Hanover and East Berlin, if you know where those are located at.
So has Altland House always had that location?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know they used to be in at the fairgrounds as well.
That was secondary. I know they did, because mainly they got into catering. So I know they did some offsite. They do own multiple properties, so it's a hospitality group. So they own multiple locations, mainly restaurants, and then they do a lot of catering. So we're kind of getting into busy season with all the Christmas parties and stuff going on right now.
I had a cousin in my dad's side, and this is going back probably 25, 30 years ago. It's Goodyear, Jim Goodyear. Used to be like the head caterer or head person of the food stuff. I don't know if he's still there. I have no idea.
There's so many that go through there. I meet people all the time, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I worked back there when I was 16." Because it's been around since then. Like I said, the house was built, or the building was built in 1763. I think was 1850. I want to say it became like a full-fledged restaurant, and it's been going ever since. And then the current owners, the Hauks, the grandmother, she bought it in 1950, and she started working there as a server, and then she worked her way up, and she ended up buying it. And
Wow.
it has been in the family ever since.
That's the best thing you want to do is have somebody from internal
Great story.
buy it.
Yeah.
That's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Is if
Absolutely.
somebody can get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of history in the building. If you actually, because they're always there. Either Mike or any of the family are always there. And if you go in, there's actually timelines. There's like a whole timeline on like stained glass of the whole history of the house.
So I got a proposition for you.
What's that?
So I run from the house to the end of Admire Road, and it's only a mile down, so it's 10 miles Admire Road. We do a mile left, and we're at the Altland House.
No, wait a minute. You're asking me to go fucking running?
So what, 11 miles away. 11.4.
How about I drive and you run it?
All right.
Somebody's working towards marathons, huh?
Now we do ultras.
Do you?
Yeah.
You do ultras? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got a lot of friends that do that. That are out there doing, the 100, 150s. And
I told him if,
100's my longest.
if he sees me running, he better be a little quicker than me because there's something chasing me. That's
See,
the only way I'm running.
I ran so much in the military, I was like, okay, I'm not running anymore. I don't think I ran a day since I retired.
Really?
Yeah.
I quit for many years, and then I got back into it.
I probably will.
Nice.
Because I want to get my youngest kind of into the gym and get him trying to figure things out. He's a big boy. He's over 6 foot and 230 pounds right now. Wow.
Shit, he's caught up to me.
He's 13. He's 13 years old.
Oh, okay.
Well, my son, that's how I got back into running. He waited till he was a senior to play football.
Got it.
And he's like, Dad, we got to run 2 miles. And, the old Army head said, oh, yeah, 2 miles, no sweat. Yeah.
What mile?
Got to the corner.
2
and
miles.
So I did a 5K, a half marathon, and then a 50-miler.
Oh, that's
in
awesome.
that order.
That's crazy. That is crazy. And
then stopped, and I did the 100 a year later.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
kept
we used to
going.
have guys run the what do they call it? It's the one down in Miami. They run across the bridge down there.
Yeah.
It's ultra,
Yeah.
and they'd usually do it as a team. And so I think it was like 5 runners, and then you just split it up into 3 miles, 4 miles, unless you were the one that pulled the short straw.
The Ragnar?
I think it's what is it called? It's something 100. I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
It's not the marathon because there's a place called Marathon down there.
Yeah.
But
The Ragnar.
they run to Key West. Maybe it's the Key West 100.
There is a Key West 100.
So that's
Yeah.
the run. So
Okay.
like I said, the short straw was if you got the bridge. There was a 7-mile bridge where
Yep.
there's no, you can't have vehicles that like pull off on the side. It's
Yep.
just 2 lanes. So it's if you pull the short straw, you're doing 7 miles.
It's all right.
So-
Ooh, 7 miles. I can't even do
7
one
miles,
half of the
100
time.
miles, no difference.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
But we have a beer here before we go
Yeah.
any further. So tell us a little bit about what we're going to be doing here, John.
All right, so this is a seasonal beer I do every kind of fall time frame. It's a Dunkelweizen, so it is weeded. So it does have a little bit of turbid. It's a little turbid. It'll settle a bit in the kegs. I just kegged it last week. It's called Summer's Demise. It's a little over 5%, but it is a traditional Dunkel. But then I add some strawberry to it to kind of give like a kind of a summer zing, but also a darker beer. This is one of the first darker beers I brew in the season. And then I already just brewed a porter that'll be coming up soon. And I kind of hit the dark beers. Summer is typically all light and lager. And
I never got that, To me, beer seasons, no matter what it is, I don't care.
for the people. And like I said, most of my brewing is catered towards the golf course.
Yeah.
Because most of the restaurants we have are located at golf courses. And we supply the golfers. So a lot of them are the light loggers, and they beg me. And I have 3 7-barrel tanks that I'm rotating through. And, to throw a lager in one of them is going to be
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
And so that's probably my biggest struggle in our size. Like I said, I brew 3-barrel system. So it's 3-barrel stout tank system. And so I have to do 2 brew days to fill a tank.
Mm-hmm.
But for the summer, I'm usually just brewing. I'll keep a lager in constantly rotating, and then I'll rotate through like some lighter IPAs and blonde ales and the lighter of the sort.
So you said this is Summer's Demise?
It's called Summer's Demise. So this is the first kind of dark beer I do, but that's where the kind of strawberry, you say, former summer, but then you go into this kind of darker chocolate.
My
You
wife
know.
You
hates
get a
this time of year.
strong sniff of strawberry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is this your recipe or was this one of their?
No, this is mine.
This is yours. So, cheers
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
to summer's
Cheers.
demise.
The end of summer demise. That's what you should call it.
Oh, wow.
That's very tasty.
It is.
That
took my
strawberries
surprise there. Yeah.
lingering on the back end of the palate.
Yeah, I didn't want it too up front. I want it more just kind of like a subtle, really
Kinda
on,
like
on
it-
the back of
yeah,
the palate. I
kinda
want it on the
just
back
like
of the
fades
palate.
away.
So you get the front, you get the chocolate, you get some of those notes. You get a little bit of the banana, a little bit banana from the yeast phenolics. So it kind of
That's a
it's good
different
combination.
dunkel, though.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So what I used to do is last year I brewed a full size. I did 7 barrels, and I did half. So I half of it I dosed with strawberry, and half of it I kept as a traditional Dunkelweizen. And
It's really good.
It's
It's,
very
it's
tasty.
tasty.
I don't think I've ever had a dunkel before. Never even heard that type of beer out
yeah, so
there.
it's a dark wheat. So
Okay.
it's a dark wheat German ale.
It's very tasty.
It's got like 3
Love
layers.
the smooth tastiness. Yeah. I know. I'm getting like
It's
a little
complex. I like it.
I like that.
the
It's-
like
See, that's-
late afternoon of chocolate just in the back of my throat still just hanging there too.
It almost, you get that cordial. As the chocolate fades, the strawberry comes in, then they kind of blend back in as they're fading away.
Right. What do you think, Dave?
Tastes pretty good.
That's all he says.
What's that?
Like that's all you say. This is pretty good.
Yeah, tastes
Quiet
pretty
over
good.
there.
He is quiet tonight.
I'm letting the veterans lead this off because they got a lot to talk about, and I'm enjoying listening.
Thank you, Dave.
So at your place,
Yes.
at the so Altland House, the pub is up, the grill is upstairs, the restaurant.
So the restaurant's upstairs, and then we have the main restaurant upstairs. And then downstairs, where I'm located at, is a pub. We have a brew pub down there. So we have another bar, and then it's more of a kind of a laid back atmosphere, if you want to call it that. The stuff up on the walls and kind of a local hangout. We got the dollar bills that are all wrapped around the bar, and kind of a more low key because upstairs is kind of in between, kind of fine dining. It's a little more expensive than your normal run of the mill.
and we were talking about that when we
yeah.
talked at your Oktoberfest, and you mentioned prime rib Fridays or
Oh
something.
yeah, prime rib Fridays.
I said, "Oh, you sold me."
Yeah, and then this month November is oyster November, so it's like just tons of oysters from
Oh, we got to go.
on the half shell all the way to like different varieties of fried and sandwiches and all.
Just give them to me raw.
Brought out
That's
the
how I eat them. That's how I
aphrodisiac.
eat them.
Give them to me raw.
Brought out the aphrodisiac month.
Well, that's one of my go-tos. Like in the middle of the day on brewing, it's
Ooh.
like, oh, it's give me a sixer, some half shell,
Yep.
So
suck them down.
oysters.
Yes,
Have you ever made an oyster stout?
I have not in the professional atmosphere. So
Okay.
it's I've had some really bad ones, and even from professional breweries.
And we had somebody on here that talked about how they
Yes,
represented the oysters. They did an oyster stout, but they didn't use oysters.
I was going to mention that too, and I can't remember who it was,
But they used some
Me too.
kind of salt in the
Okay.
brew to kind of get that oyster
Mimic
flavor.
it, give it a little umami.
It was really good. It was really good. But yeah, I like. So can they get the oysters in both places, or is it mainly just? In
No,
the
you could order everything upstairs and downstairs.
Oh.
So it's the same menu. So
Road trip.
yes, yeah, absolutely. Now, so we do beer specials downstairs on Thursdays. So like you have like a $3 pint, and that rotates. And I usually get hit up on like Thursday morning and Wednesday afternoon, like, hey, what's the $3 pint this week? I'm like, damn, which one is it this day? Because it doesn't matter to me. I'm like, even I don't care. It could be the more expensive, like double IPAs. I don't care. It's like, as long as they're being drank down there, I'm happy.
right.
How many
Yeah.
taps you have to keep on? How many taps you got to keep going?
Typically 6. I usually have 6 beers on. So sometimes they're different upstairs and downstairs for the most part. And like I said, if there's a beer that's on downstairs that you don't have access to upstairs, they'll go down and get you something.
So it's,
just a matter of stairs.
Quite the project to keep up with 6 taps with your system.
Yes, and then especially in the summer because we have the other restaurants that I cater to. So Penn National, which is out in Chambersburg, we have Founders Restaurant out there, and that is probably where most of my beer goes during the summer. And so that's a 50-minute drive. So typically my summer weeks are pretty busy. I'm either brewing twice and then kegging delivering on the same day and then cleaning on Friday. So
Sounds like you need help.
nah, not really. I mean, I could always use the help. I could task out, but it keeps me busy and keeps me, you know, like from pulling my hair out from you. And I'm
Right.
used to my hair being on fire anyway. So
Well, yeah, 20 some years in the service,
Yeah.
especially Marines, you're used to the grunt work.
absolutely, I think
And- yeah.
if we had up production, if we did go larger, I definitely would need some assistance but we're
Yeah.
not there yet. So it's, and like I said, it's kind of a luxury item for the company to have their own beers on tap, and I think that's what they really enjoy.
Like when I saw you at your Oktoberfest, I'll be honest. I'm like, I never heard of it.
Yeah, It's
I
our
mean, I
third-
knew
it was
what the
our third
Allen House
year.
was,
Yep.
but I didn't know they were doing their own beer.
Yeah, that's what I told you. I drove by 16 years for work, never stopped in once, and I got a buddy that lives 2 houses down, and I'll be there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
you gotta
definitely
come
coming.
by, especially
we're
on-
definitely coming.
Yeah. Definitely come on the weekends. I think you guys will really dig the downstairs. Like I said, it's much more laid back. Same food. You can get the same food upstairs and downstairs.
Fucking Friday, I could get a prime rib and
Yep.
have
And live music. Live music on Fridays
I
and
was gonna
Saturdays.
say,
a dozen or 2 oysters on top of that.
Just in November though, so you gotta go.
I know, but
you gotta
that's
come soon.
you know what? I don't have any Thanksgiving plans.
Yeah, we do a big Thanksgiving deal too, and we also have brunch on Sundays. They do a Sunday brunch
Every Sunday.
every Sunday. So
Sounds
because
like you
we're
and Reggie
known-
might have a new place to go.
Yeah.
We're known for chicken and waffles. That's one of the oldest recipes we have. So they do chicken and waffles on Sunday. Actually, you can get chicken and waffles every day, but that's one of the big items they do on Sundays.
Do that.
I've been struggling trying to find a good chicken and waffle.
Yeah, come on by.
Now, do you guys have the hot sauce and the syrup combo?
I'm sure you could get it if you ask for it. You probably get it. You know, they don't necessarily put it out on the tables, but
See, I make the
if
beer.
you ask the chefs, they're going to hook you up. Like, most of the cooks there and head chef Jesse, they'll take care of you. So.
Sounds like a future episode up at the Altland House, a food
yeah.
pairing with your beer.
That
We're
sounds
actually,
great.
I've been trying to do one. I've been trying to work with the head chef. We were going to do like a brewer's dinner, and so that's still in the works. It's just a matter of finding time with Jesse, the head chef, and kind of coordinated doing something. Last time we did, I think we were going to do. We were doing it in March. We're going to do the St. Patty's Day, and we're going to do some. And I wanted it more low key and like more, beer food. And he's very chefy, and so it's like, I was like,
Is he the Muppet Chef?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no, he's a big guy. He's a good guy. His son actually just joined the Marines this year, so he's actually still in school, and he's going to get his kid back here for Thanksgiving. So he's really happy about that. But no, we were just talking, and I was like, okay, well, what do you want to cook? Because you tell me what you want to cook, and I already had a list. I already had a list of things, like Reuben, egg rolls or something,
Right.
something like that. Do the St. Patty's. And he was like, well, I'm going to do this and do that. And I was like, yeah, that's not something I'm looking to do. And it just kind of fizzled out. So we will get back and we'll get on the same sheet of music.
We've had tastings from a Burger King Whopper to
Yeah.
especially homemade meals.
So
Yeah.
what we're thinking of and what we try to do, and we've done a few already.
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We come to
They
your
turned out
place,
well.
we pair your beer with your current menu.
Sure, absolutely.
I think that's some of the content we're really trying to push again, because we want to promote the product that you're brewing
Okay.
and the restaurant
And
and
the
the food.
restaurant.
So if somebody does actually watch our episodes or listen to them, and they happen to be there, like, hey, they talked about that dunkel went well with that.
Sure.
Oyster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
oyster.
oysters go good for me, anyways. They go good with anything. And everybody looks at me like, "Oh, how you do that?" It's like shuck and chuck, baby, shuck and chuck.
Yeah, we do the bakes. So we'll do, like, in North Carolina, he'll go out and harvest it himself. One of the guys that was in the brew club with me, he'll go out there and he has a secret location because he was a game warden out there for
Oh,
20
yes, he
years.
knows.
So he knew all the sneaky spots. So he would just go out and he'd harvest a bunch of oysters, and he'd come back and we just get a fire going, and he'd throw sheet metal on top of it,
Yep.
and we just throw steam blankets on them and just steam them, pull them right off, and just start shucking. And yeah,
I like them.
It's the best.
I like
the
them
best.
steamed too. And there's that one commercial. It's one of the medication commercials.
Yeah,
That guy
TV.
hops out of the boat and he goes over to the oyster baskets and he harvests them, and you see him chuck. I'm like, told my wife, like, that would be pretty fucking cool. Go harvest
Yeah,
my
right off
own
the boat.
oyster and
Right
just
off the
chuck
boat.
it.
We did that in Croatia.
Did you?
Yeah.
They're different when they
It-
come straight
all
out. They're
Yeah.
so briny, and it is amazing.
It, speaking of oysters, if you go somewhere and they'll say, well, you have your choice of oysters, they all taste different because of where they're at. The water, the location, every one of them tastes
Yeah.
different. Now, people that don't eat raws will be like, "Ugh, tastes like a booger." But no, they're very good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever had any, Ben?
I tried them. You can keep them to yourself still.
How about you, Dave?
No, not a one.
Guys,
Well, it's just
you guys
fresh.
are missing out. That's
Yeah,
right. More for us, right?
There you
that's
go.
it.
I know.
Sounds like we definitely sometime in November. We only got, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming fast.
Yeah.
I'm
It's like
free
just-
this week. Other than that, I'm gone.
I won't be here this
Crazy.
weekend. Damn. Definitely got to have to make a trip to Altland House.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come on
definitely.
by, guys.
So-
Like I said, the weekends, the days to go. But we do have specials. Like you typically rotate, so depending on when you go there, you might find something different. But for the most part, great food. Great food.
So what other things? You said live music on Fridays. Is there anything that you do else?
Thursdays they do trivia. They do a trivia. It used to be bingo. They rotate between bingo. I don't know if they have plans to do anything else, but it's like trivia and then live music Fridays and Saturdays downstairs. So upstairs is going to be quiet if you like that kind of scene.
Pull it up.
Even though there's a bar up there, you can sit at the bar and throw beers back,
And-
no problem.
Brunch on Sundays.
Yep.
What's your operating hours?
Typically, we're open from 11 to 10
Every day?
every day.
Every day.
Yeah, I think Sundays. Let's get back. Sunday, I think they close at 9. They close early on Sundays, but like I said, they do the brunch in the morning. But the weekends, it's 10 o'clock.
That's
They close the
awesome.
Doors.
That's awesome.
We should pursue the beer tasting, or not the beer tasting,
The food.
the food,
The food
pairings.
pairings?
Yes,
I thought that's what we already do is the beer tasting.
I'm gonna pursue that right now, Dave.
pursue the beer tasting, but we should
We
definitely,
definitely should look into it. We've talked
pursue
about it.
the food pairing.
The downside is we're not getting a lot of yeses right now that we can coordinate times and dates.
Yeah,
You gotta turn those no's into yeses.
Well, they're yeses, but we just got to get the right dates,
Got to
right?
get the right date.
Right.
Yeah, like one of them said, "Well, we can do it on a Tuesday night," and I'm like, "That ain't gonna work because I don't get home till after 7 until we get there set up. It's gonna be definitely after 9:30. No, ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, unless they're going to keep it open for you.
Would have
Yeah.
to be during the weekend sometime.
yeah.
That is the only downfall.
In the beginning, before we had the studio, we used to go
Travel.
travel,
Mhm.
and it was so
That was tough.
You know, if it was local, no problem. It was still a problem local because it's an hour to set up, an hour, 2 hours to do an interview, an hour to tear down.
It was a lot of time involved on
It's an
both
8-hour
ends.
Sure.
day.
So
But obviously, this is going
worth
to go
it.
out straight because you're not going to edit this, right? This is going to go out straight, or are you going to edit it?
I'll do some editing
bit
to it,
editing.
but people said, "Well, you need to trim it down because
This is
I realize
this is long form. That's what
nobody's
it's
going to
supposed be.
sit and watch an hour and a half, 2 hour episode, not all at once. But what would you edit out of a original content of a discussion? Nothing.
No, dead air. That's
Yeah.
that's about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
you
dead
get,
air.
You get dead
So-
air, and then okay, you gotta speed it up a little bit.
I mean, people sit down and watch a 4-hour episode of Joe Rogan.
Well, that's Joe Rogan.
That's your yeah.
Somebody paid him.
And you have really cool people that go on there. You know,
We're not Joe Rogan.
I mean, I think we have some cool guests that come on.
We have
here.
awesome
sure, absolutely.
yeah.
But I watched a lot of beer tube, whiskey tube, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it, and they all start the same way. You know, either they're doing it themselves and they don't have a group. What's cool is you have a group, so you have that banter back and forth. But when you're just a lone a lone soul sitting there in front of a camera, and I know some of those guys are really good at it.
Yeah.
And they'll do group form after the fact, like if they have Patreon or something like that. But it took them a long time. They all started off, with,
Yeah.
200 subscribers, 50 views here, 20 views there.
That's
And it's
about
just-
where
it's
we're
just a
at.
struggle.
As you see in our studio here, we moved some things around. My wife's afraid we're going to keep expanding into the basement a little farther. I joked we're going to make a little cabana area over here and have like bar stools that we just sit on. I don't know,
It's not
maybe.
a bad idea.
Actually, that'd be pretty cool.
I still have the
For a season.
kegerator. I could bring the kegerator down here, but I haven't brewed myself. I just haven't had time.
And that's one of those things that when I was even a home brewer, like in the homebrew club. So I'm still a member of the homebrew club. So,
And what homebrew club is that?
they're called the Beer Alchemist of Coastal Carolina, or BAC squared.
Oh, so you are down from, you're in a homebrew group from
Yeah, because
down
it's
south.
at Camp Lejeune. So most of them are either retired Marines or active duty Marines.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we would get together, once a month. We were all friends, but we get together once a month, and then we would select beer styles. So we either brewed of those beer styles, and then some people would brew beer to bring, and then you could also bring in a commercial. And then we would, we drink through it. We'd read the whole what that brew style is all about and what the expectation was, and then we drink through and we kind of rate each other's beers if you brewed. Became more of a drinking club than it did a brewing club. And it was the same excuse. It was like, I just didn't have time to brew.
That's why we went to the short glasses.
Yeah.
Because our original beer drinking nights, where this all stemmed from, became pretty substantial by the time we left.
We would all come with 4 or 5 beers.
It was okay when it was just the three of us and we could walk to each other's houses, but when your son got involved,
Yeah.
we had to drive to his house,
Yeah.
and that was a problem coming back home.
Well, we
Yep.
stopped a couple of times coming back home.
We won't mention why we had to stop.
And that's how pretty much our Sundays were.
Yeah.
It was like, lucky it was a Sunday. So it was kind of like, all right, we'd probably drink to like 15, 16 beers, but we did small. So we'd all have little small,
Little
have 2,
taster
3
glasses.
Yeah. And some guys would overdo it sometimes, and, like,
I've
"All right, so
never
you gonna get
done
home?"
that. I've never overdone it.
No.
No. So what got you military-wise? What got you to join? What were you thinking?
I was always kind of into the military,
Okay.
as a young kid. I mean, I grew up in the '80s. It was all Commando and Rambo and
Yeah.
all those movies. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger was everybody's dad. Like, oh, it's the guy you want to have as your dad. Except he had Alyssa Milano on his, on his shoulders. But and I was just always kind of into it. Like when I was in even middle school, I think they called my nickname was Rambo. Like I was in the woods. I was getting dirty.
Oh, yeah,
I was climbing trees in New Jersey.
I think I still have it, the old Rambo knife that had
yeah.
all the attachments. It's about yay long.
Yeah, so it's something I was always into. I wasn't sure what service I wanted to go into. I did junior ROTC in high school. We always kind of mimicked the Marine Corps, so I always kind of knew I kind of wanted to. I talked to the Army, and they just didn't do it for me. So I was actually getting ready to join, and my best friend came up to me one day. It was like, "Hey, dude, you know what I did?" I was like, "What?" Because he was going to go to tech school. He's a tech guy, like that's what he was into. I joined the Marine Corps. I was like, what? What? What are you doing? He's like, well, I'm going to the reserves. I'm like, okay, what's your job? He's like, EOD. I'm like, do you know what EOD is? He's like, not really. I was like, well, it's explosive ordnance disposal.
Right.
Except you're a reservist, which means you're probably going to pack ammo or move. And he's like, oh, man. So he ended up going back and changed to active duty. He got into communications, which ended up being his profession.
Well, good.
So
Good for him.
he did 4 years. We decided not to go to boot camp together because you can go on a buddy program. We actually go through boot camp together, and we chose not to. So he went a week before I did.
Isn't that an eye-opening experience?
It's an amazing experience. I kind of knew what to expect.
I didn't.
Especially being JROTC, I kind of knew. And you talk to enough people, and I had a neighbor who was a Marine in the 80s. He was peacetime, so he was kind of disgruntled because he was a grunt, but he he actually changed, I think, aviation before before he got out. But
Yeah, the only thing I knew was Full Metal Jacket. Watching Lee Emery. Was it Lee?
Lee, Arlie.
Arlie Ermey.
Arlie
Ermey.
Yeah.
Who was actually a staff sergeant. He actually retired as a staff sergeant. And
So he wasn't ever a gunny, which
No.
you were.
I am. Yeah, I was a full-fledged. I actually got selected for mass sergeant, but yes, I retired as a gunner sergeant. So, but he became an honorary gunny. Obviously, the Marine Corps made him an honorary.
And
gunny.
apparently, in that movie, he was only hired as an
Consultant.
advisor and consultant on that. And I guess what was it? I read that the actor got sick or couldn't do it, and he just stepped
He
in.
couldn't do it. Yeah, he stepped in because he said, "You're not doing it right. Let me show you."
Well,
And that's
Stanley
what he did.
Kubrick's a nut. So I think
Yeah.
I think him and Arlie probably got it. Well, he just showed him.
It was the right choice.
because he was writing everything for him.
Yeah. It was
And
the
he's
right
like,
choice.
okay, he's not doing it. Let me do it. And obviously that just, I mean, because he'd been in other movies before that. He was in like The Boys of Company C. I think was he in Apocalypse Now? He might have had a small role there. I think he was a pilot or something like in Apocalypse
Sure
Now.
on that one.
But
So, but he'd been advising and doing those things.
and like I said in our opening, the country that we live in was built on the backs of 18, 19, and 20-year-olds for the most part.
Yep.
And as an 18-year-old, if you're not usually have not been away from home, you go to boot camp, whether it's Marine, Army, Navy, we'll say Air Force.
Yeah. Get him in there.
It is an eye-opening experience when you get off that bus at your duty station for boot camp, and they are screaming all kind of expletives to you. You're like, oh shit, what did I just do?
Well, I think you do have the shock factor, and that's the point. The
It is
point
the
is,
point.
especially the first 72 hours,
Break you down.
they don't let you sleep. So it's just like it's that shock and awe, and it's basically to push you through that kind of culture shock. So it gets you through it, and then you are just a sponge at that point.
It's a mind game.
Yeah, you're spine, and they're teaching you discipline at the same point, and everything in boot camp has a purpose.
Everything
Like
does.
every little thing, like the way they, at least in Marine Corps boot camp, they you scuzz the deck with like a small little brush.
Yep.
And you duck walk everywhere, and you had to like and you scrub,
man.
and you scrub harder, sir. And you
There's
scrub
always
the
a
floors.
purpose.
Well, then later on, you're doing an obstacle course, and you have to go through a pipe,
Yep.
and you're duck walking. You're like, oh, that's what it is.
kinda
So
like-
every little thing that you do,
Kind
has
of
a
like
purpose.
Mr. Miyagi.
It is. It's
Paint
absolutely
the fence.
That's exactly
There
what it
is a purpose behind the torture.
And I mean, some of it's fun and games. They're going to have fun.
Oh, yeah.
Things are a little bit different now than they were then.
Absolutely,
I'm
they
sure
are.
things were different in the 60s.
Yeah.
Than
Well-
they were when I went through.
60s, they were probably rushing them through because they needed them.
Oh, they were going through 3 months. I think, or no, was it? What was it? 6 weeks? 6 or 9
yeah, they
weeks?
were rushing them
And they
through
were
because
gone.
they needed
And there was no additional training. They didn't go to like an infantry training. 'Cause what we
boot
have,
camp and you got shipped.
yeah, because right now they do 13 weeks. I think it's 13 weeks, and then they go to the School of Infantry for Marines. They go to School of Infantry East or West, depending on what you're on. I was an instructor. I did half my time as an instructor for the infantry.
Awesome.
So I did from sergeant to sergeant through staff sergeant. I did 3 years as just a regular combat instructor. We call it combat instructors. So that's their post boot camp. Then they'll go to the actual fleet and then they'll deploy. So I did that, and I went back there, and that's where I retired from. So I was actually the operations chief for the infantry training battalion. So,
All right, so we have another beer here, a little bit different. So tell us a little bit about this one, John.
all right, so this is kind of a it's not a smash, so it's not typically what a smash beer would be, but this is a single hop, kind of rotating hop. So it's called Cloudy with a Chance of Mosaic. So Mosaic is the key hop.
Okay.
This is one of their kind of original playful ones. I changed the recipe up quite a bit, like I said, because they used Nugget. It was like Cloudy with a Chance of Nugget, and I'm just for the IPAs. I'm not big on like
Nuggets in English.
Yeah, that's what I say. Noble hops. I'm like they
Yeah.
used a lot of noble hops in their old beers, so I've kind of drifted from that.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I kept most of them. At least the mystique of them is the same.
Right.
You know, even the grain bill changed up a little bit, and I kind of play with it. So this is kind of my rotating. I've done different hop varieties. So
And I
I'll
like
rotate.
that idea. Like if you're just Brooks Haymeyer does that. He has an IPA base and he rotates the hop.
Yep.
So you get you can get the taste with that hop. Mosaic to me is going to have a lot of dank to it.
They could be dank, onion. They call it onion, and
Yeah.
then you can get some blueberry depending on the harvest. So that's one thing I found about hops. You know, people fall in love with hops. You know, like whether you fell in love with Citra. You know, that was the big one for a long time.
The 4Cs was the Centennial, Cascade, Citra. What the hell is the
Citra
other?
wasn't one of them actually.
Oh, was it?
No, Centennial, Cascade, Columbus, or what they call CTZ, which is actually a hybrid. I mainly use CTZ, which is.
Are you using
Zeus.
fresh hops or using pellets?
It's all pellet.
All pellet.
We grow hops. If you ever noticed on the side of the building, we do grow hops every year up the wall.
Oh, wow.
And they have probably like 6 years worth of hops like bricked up in the cooler. And I just haven't got around. It's such a mess, and it's such a time consuming, endeavor to use fresh hops in a beer.
Takes a lot more hop.
Well,
to use
especially
that.
the way mine is. So, like, I don't have most large scale breweries have where you have the manways that you can open up on them. Like my boil kettle straight, it's just a big kettle. It looks like a homebrew kettle on steroids. So it's 3 barrels deep, but like you'd have to climb into it. I'd have to get a ladder and climb into the thing. But to empty it from a bunch of dry hop, no.
Nah, no, thank you.
Did you ever think about the marketing aspect of that, where if you guys take some video of you harvesting the hops that are on the side of the building and then putting those in the beer and telling the people that this is where the hops come from, people will come just to taste that beer.
Oh, absolutely. And then I only have to throw a little handful in with the bidding, and then I use pellets with the rest, right? They won't know the difference. No, I mean, like fresh hops are definitely they're time consuming. And if you have the ability and the ease of doing it, why not? I mean, some of my favorite beers are some of the harvest ales. So, like right now, what Sierra Nevada has their Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah, it's but they do it every year. It's a harvest. It's a wet harvest. And then I think Lagunitas made Born Yesterday, which is one of my favorite beers that they ever made. And until they got bought out, then it kind of went away. But it was a fresh harvest.
And there's something about using pellets. It's definitely controllable.
Absolutely.
Where if you use fresh hops, you're going to get differential.
Well, and
Fluctuation,
I'm a small brewery. I don't have a lab. I can't test them for what the lupulin level is and the hops on the side of the building. I just don't have that ability.
No.
Yeah.
And then you have year variants, and I'm not keeping, I'm not spraying them with anything. So it's a risky proposition that I just haven't really.
I just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, but I just had that vision of you being the Juan Valdez, the man that went out and picked every bean of coffee that I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure he did that.
Did you remember the commercials?
Oh, yeah, I
all picked
remember.
by one? Yeah, we believed that too, right?
Oh, of course we did.
It was on the internet. It has to be true.
So this is all mosaic.
All mosaic.
It is all
and
mosaic.
is there a name for it?
This is called Cloudy with a Chance of Mosaic.
You did say that.
You already
so-
got me
Yeah.
with the name because just
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
the resemblance of the movie Cloudy the Chance of Meatballs. So
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
But see, and like I said, it's I call it a hazy, more than a New England. It's not it's not overly oated.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little thinner.
Not going to have that like creaminess.
Yeah, it's not
background.
gonna have that creamy. And I'm not actually a big fan of that. I was kind of faddish, the New England IPAs. Now a lot of people are just calling them hazies now.
That's what I was going to say.
And-
New England has become hazies.
Yeah. So, and
Or
I think there's
juices.
reason for that because a lot of them started really. I mean, there was a lot of cheats with it because if you know the process actually is in the fermentation. I mean, your grain bill really matters. You can have high oat content or wheat. So use a lot of white wheat, and different wheat grains, and so that gives you that kind of like turbiness, just like you would with the Hefeweizen, right? Which is like the original hazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Before you call it an IPA. So you have something similar to that, but with the dry hopping, what it is you dry hop during active fermentation. So, like 48 hours when you pitch yeast, that when it's in heavy crowds,
When it
and
starts
it's
to really
rocking,
bubble
it's
and-
rocking.
Yep.
That's when you hit it. And they actually found there's the science behind it. They found that it has something to do with the hops and the yeast interacting. That actually gives you more of a long-term haze. Because if you ever seen some, you've seen some in some of the big breweries. Like if you get it fresh, it's super hazy looking. But if you buy it like a month and a half down the road, it's like it looks like a regular IPA. It's
Cleared out.
completely cleared out.
Yep.
And one of the brewers I worked for in Harrisburg, he was not a fan of doing them, and he tried every cheat there was. He was like putting pectin in it, and he was doing all these different things. And I was trying to tell him, and me coming from the homebrew side, I was like, why don't you do this? No, we're just gonna do it this way. I'm like, hey, you're the professional brewer, you know what I mean? And he never got one right. As a matter of fact, his beer was called Questionable Clarity, was the name of his hazy IPA, because he never knew if it was going to be hazy or if it was going to clear out. So he's just like, oh, just call it this.
Yeah.
So it could always be questioned. So, but yes. So this is-
Cheers to
Cheers.
Cloudy with a chance of
Cheers.
mosaic.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yep, there's that dankness. It's got very good flavor.
Yeah. Smooth.
A little crisp. It's like crisp and clean. And like you said, it's not overly, what do I want to say, like creamy. It doesn't have that creamy because there's no oats in it. But when I see Mosaic, there are certain hops. When I see it, okay, I know it's going to be an IPA. My wife is going to love this because it's going to be dank, and she would call it carpet mark beer.
Carpet.
Yep.
But this is actually it's very tasty.
You get a lot of fruit from it.
You do.
And
I
with
do.
these, with my hazies, I like hazy to have a little bit of bitterness, because you have a lot of them that they produce now are like 0 IBUs, so it's all like dry.
An IPA
It's all
with 0 IBUs.
0 IBUs. Yeah, it's because
How the hell are
it's
they?
all post boil. So, like not even Whirlpool. So because even in Whirlpool, it's still hot wort, and you're gonna get IBUs. You're gonna get some of the bitterness. A lot of them are just straight dry hopped. So it's nothing. It's all on the cold side. So you'll have 0 IBUs. So all you do is get the flavor of the hops. You get those fruity flavors, and that's why they started using the Galaxies and all the the New Zealand hops, the new school hops as they call them. And then they started getting really super thick. A lot of them were doing lactose. The milkshake IPAs, and some of them literally look gray. They were so hazy.
I think that was a fad that hit, and now it's gone.
When we first
Yeah.
started, yeah.
But I always want to know it's an IPA. So all of my beers are at least Whirlpool. There's not a beer I do. So this one is all Whirlpool, and then
Very tasty.
dry hop.
It is good.
So, and like I said, Mosaic's one of my favorite. It took me a long time to get around to it because, like I said, because of that assertive, herbal, bitter, dank, which I love. I love one of my favorite styles is the West Coast.
That's what I was getting ready to ask. What's your favorite style? You just answered
Yeah, West Coast is where I was born and raised. Now I'm starting to come around as I get older. I'm starting to get more into the lagers and that whole process, But West Coast is typically what I go back to. And I think a lot of the New England drinkers are going back to the West Coast. Because, even Hetty Topper, which is the OG, is typically it's a West Coast IPA. It really is, and it's not even hazy. It's just super dank.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When I see West Coast, it's going to be kind of crystal clear.
Yep.
It's going to have a lot of
Clear beer.
pine notes to it, some grapefruit notes.
Yep.
It's going to be dank, got a lot of bitters, a lot of high IBUs.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same taste, but just more bitter.
And so we've said this numerous times. None of us were really IPA guys.
No.
My palate's open. I will enjoy every beer. There have been a couple that we haven't enjoyed.
Yeah.
But I will sample every beer.
You can talk about this afterwards.
And I will enjoy it. And if it's something that I will not go back for, I appreciate what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's been few beers that I've drank that, I think there's been some shock beers that I've definitely had. I made that mistake actually with my wife. I think you were talking about it earlier with your wife. And I remember I got her, it was called like Sneaky Pete, and it was an Imperial IPA. And I was like, baby, you got to try this. And she hates pine.
Oh, okay. Well,
Like it's one of like the smell of pine, like it's just atrocious. Like it's not there is no Christmas tree in our house. It will not happen. It's like one of those things, right? And I'm like, oh, you gotta try this. And it was a palate ripper. I think like
Oh, so it was really.
oh yeah, I could almost barely drink it when we first started. I was
Open
like,
her
yeah, you gotta
nostrils
try
up.
this.
Hey, here,
Oh,
honey,
man.
try this.
She'll tell you today. She remembers the name of it. She's like,
Wow.
yeah, no, because she doesn't drink. So, but she'll try my beers. She'll try them, and she's really good. She has a really good palate, so she could tell me if she's tasting something or what. I'd ask her just describe it so I can blindly so I can at least know I'm on the right track.
Right.
But yeah, but there's been very few beers besides infected beer. Infection is a whole different beast.
That's it. That's
Yeah, you're talking about like because that fermentation at 100 plus degrees, which is fine if you use the Kvike yeast, and now you have the Kvike yeast that you can use, and you actually will ferment at 100 degrees.
Yeah, we've had a couple guests on that started playing with the Kvike stuff.
Yeah, because you could do IPAs with it, and you could do all different styles, but it'll eat through. But you can also do it colder. So if like you don't have, especially for homebrewers, if you don't have climate control, the Kvike yeast is great.
Yeah.
It's gonna do the work, and it's gonna and it's not gonna leave. Most of it would be neutral flavors.
My climate control is here in the basement. It averages 65 to 68. So eventually I'd like to be able to build some kind of lagering device to be able to lager a beer.
Yeah.
But everything I brew is usually ales that it can just ferment down here in this temperature in a dark corner. I wrap it in a blanket,
Sure.
tuck it in.
So, but that's easy. I mean, you could get probably the best thing, the easiest way to do that for you is, I mean, even if you have like one of those little mini fridges, you can use those and just get you a temper controller, like Johnson temper controller for like $30, and then you just hook that up and you can run whatever temps you want. The best way to do it is get you a little one of those chest freezers, the small ones. And you can get them for like $90
Somebody
at Walmart.
had that.
And then you can set it so now you can drop down sub-zero, and so now you can actually lager because you can you sent that Johnson controller down to 32 and you're lagering.
Yeah.
So-
What is it, lagers? 38 to 50?
32.
32.
32.
Yeah, 32. Yeah.
Yep. So you can lager, but typically it's right at that freezing mark.
Well, didn't you and I have that conversation that you can do lagers with a different yeast strain? Was that you and I had that conversation?
No, I wasn't. I don't think it was me, but you can lager anything. You can lager an ale.
Just got to use a different. Got to use a different.
No,
yeast
you
strain.
could. Well, you never start anything cold, anyways, because like even your lager yeast is going to be anywhere from 48 to 60 degrees. Let's say high end 60s, some of them, but I wouldn't even let them ferment. The fermentation temperature. Typically, you're going to be around 50.
That's what I was
cool.
thinking. Like
so
the 38
degrees
to 50
to ferment.
For,
so fermentation takes longer with lager yeast too.
Right.
It could take, where an ale you can blast through an ale in 72 hours. Doesn't mean it's ready to drink. It just means the fermentation is pretty much done. Now you're looking at conditioning. So, but with lager, I mean you're looking 4 weeks, like just the fermentation. Now you have to do what we call a diacetyl rest. I know this is getting really sciencey, because you want to push off the diacetyl, which doesn't come off at those lower temperatures. So you got to gradually raise the temperature up into the mid 60s, and then once you get into the mid 60s, usually there's like 2 points left on your fermentation, is 2 to 5. You put it up at that temperature, let it finish out, and then you cold crash.
it.
So now you're starting to lager at 32, and you just let it go at 32 for like 3 weeks, and then it's lagered at that point.
When you guys buy me a fooder tank?
sure. Christmas is coming.
He said it, not me.
See, the sad part is I have all my stuff still in storage in North Carolina. I got like
Road trip.
Yeah, I mean, I have all my brewing stuffs down there. I mean, because my small batches is on a little robo brew. I use a little six gallon Robo Brew for my small batch.
I think you did tell me that.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I was like,
they had a grain father, and so I used that for a while, but then the coil went out on it, and I was like, okay, I still have my Robo Brew. I'll just use my Robo Brew. So that's what I use. But I've gotten to the point now, even like 3 years of professional brewing, I'm pretty confident in my abilities to not even do small batch. I'll just do a half batch. I'll do 3 barrels, and we'll taste it. But
I think that's the most fascinating part about the story tonight is the short amount of time you've been actually doing this.
Yeah. And it tastes damn good.
And what we've had so far.
I've been lucky, knock on wood, right?
But the knowledge you got, did you do a lot of reading?
I did a lot of reading in the homebrew side, but you read, most of the books are around the same because even the homebrewers became professional brewers. Even Charlie Papazian, if you know who he is. Do you guys know who Charlie Papazian is?
I don't.
Okay, he's the godfather of homebrewing.
Okay.
He wrote the book on the joy of homebrewing, back in the 60s, I think he wrote it. So he's the grandfather, and his book it covers a lot of the science, even when you get into brewing science, that's hard for me to read. A lot of the head brewers that I talk to do have degrees.
They went to school for it.
Or they went for microbiology. So they're super.
Oh, we had a couple of them on here already.
Yeah, and they'll over talk you, but I think I can brew around them. They might have the science and they could do the petri dishes and they could do the cell counts and they could do all that stuff. What the traditional brewers did back in Germany made some of the best beer in the world, and those guys were farmers.
Winging it.
And
they're farmers.
I think this is what I'm really enjoying about this conversation is because you wing it. And on a serious note, because Bret's right, we've had some very scientific people in here. We've had people that were only concerned about the water. It's got to be purified or it's can't, whatever, cooled at this temperature. And for everything we mentioned, you have multiple positive reactions of, oh no, you can do this, you can lager anything, I'm really getting into this.
That's what brewing is, especially coming from home brewing is like experimentation.
Well, right, because some of the brewers have the mindsets and they have those titles, I'm a Grand Master Poobah, and
I won't do that. Well, initially they wanted to call me, brewmaster.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not a brewmaster.
Well, that's cool though.
I'm a head brewer. You call me a head brewer, I'm good with.
Because you're the only brewer.
You're never a master.
You're the head tank cleaner. You're
you're
the head distributor.
Thank you. That's much more professional than what I just said. But right, you're always learning to do something more.
Well, like you said, you're faking it till you make it.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing. You could make really bad mistakes, and especially when it comes to sanitation. Sanitation's
First thing I learned.
Oh, yeah.
Clean, sanitize, sanitize.
And it's never clean enough.
Sanitize.
And if you have to replace something, you have to replace something. Because if you do get infection, you're talking money. It's going to be expensive. And knock on wood, I have not had, since I've been brewing, I've never had any kind of infection. And I've had to work through, I think the funnest thing for me is working through, and this is just the military thing too, is adapting and overcoming. And the fun part for me is when we do have a problem. Like for instance, today I walked into the brewery this morning, and I wasn't planning on doing much. I was going to clean my mash tun, and I just run Sandy on it, and I usually run caustic on it. Every probably 3 uses, I'll run a caustic and then acid on it. So I was just going to go do that, and I walked in. The first thing I do is I run through my tanks because I'm checking temperatures, because especially with the fluctuation in temperature here in PA.
Yeah, well, this morning as we're recording, it got really
it dropped
cold.
super cold, right?
Cold.
So, and my chiller does not like that. So, and so I walked down the line, and all my other beers are just, they're just at ferment temperature. So they're at 70 degrees. So they're basically cellar temp right now. So between 66 and 72. So I walk past them all, and I get to the end, and it's the only tank I have that's lagery. It's my lager. It's Pilsner, actually. And it's at 40. And I'm like, Oh, I got to go
Hold
check
your
the
breath.
chiller. So,
Shit.
well, no, because I got to go up to the roof, and it was like, wind gusts were like 30 miles per hour this morning, and I was out there in this, and I'm
I ain't
like,
giving you nothing.
so I ended up like troubleshooting it, going through it, and then we ended up having to call somebody in. It ended up not being anything major, so we didn't have to fork out a bunch of money to fix it, but just working on this thing, because I've had that happen multiple times in the summer. And the summer's worse because we don't have the greatest AC down in the basement in the summer. It gets up into the 80s downstairs.
Ooh, it gets a little
Like,
warm.
it gets warm. Like there's times, because they don't want to fix some of the newer, like where the restaurant is usually.
Now, being
is
a
better
troll,
AC.
it shouldn't bother you, right?
It doesn't actually. I was in the desert of California, desert of Iraq, desert of Afghanistan. That doesn't bother me.
but
Cold
beer
doesn't bother
don't
me.
like that.
Beer hates it. So, and I'd have like I said, I always have lager in. So, when I would come in, especially something would happen on like say a Saturday, and I'd come in Monday morning, and the tank's at 70 degrees and it's supposed to be at 32. That's not good.
No.
And at that time, there were like there was issues with like something I couldn't fix. It wasn't something I just troubleshoot. So we had to have somebody come out and do it, and that might take a day.
Did you
2 days.
salvage that or not?
I did.
Okay.
I won't get into.
That's all that matters.
I won't get into the details, but it was supposed to be, and this was my second year as head brewer, and it was Oktoberfest.
Ooh.
Because
that
this
would've
is
been-
July, so this is like July, and I already brewed it. I brew in July for October.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm not good at planning it. Like I said,
So-
beer to me, I don't give a fuck what season it is. I'll drink a stout in July. Give me a barrel aged in July.
Well, and it's Oktoberfest is one of those ones I really, really am passionate about. I love brewing it, and I have it at Oktoberfest every year, and it drives me mad when I go to these breweries and they don't have a Marzen on. I'm like, this is a fest. Why don't you have a Marzen? I don't understand.
As Marvin from
Yes.
Martzen.
Marzen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those ones I wanted. So luckily that year I brewed 2 tanks worth. So I was able to brew another tank, and the style ended up coming out it didn't have quite the profile that I'd like on Oktoberfest. I like my Oktoberfest like really bready and like that nice light
Yep.
bread, and you just get that bread note, and you're just like, okay, that's good. It didn't have that. But with my palate, I was able to drink it. I said, you know what? This tastes a lot like our lager. It's our lager now.
It's a new blend of lager.
No, it tasted just
Oh, just
very,
things
very
like-
similar as
like-
our Vienna lager. It had the same qualities. It had the same color. It had the same everything. So I was like, that's our Vienna lager. Boom, and we sold it as is. So
And-
that's what you have to do.
We've had that story before.
You just have to adapt.
Some of the sours turned sour. It wasn't the beer, but it was a sour, and they sold it as that, and it became a popular beer.
That's scary, especially if it's a one-off. If it's a one-off, you're probably fine. Sours is something I will kettle sour, and I just started doing sours for the brewery. They didn't have one before.
Okay, so I was going to ask some of the styles
But-
that you're bringing to Center Square, like
Yeah,
that are
so
different.
I do that because I hear it all the time. We want sours, so I was like, okay, I'll do a kettle sour. So I did some small batch stuff with doing some
Got to
kettle sour.
experiment, see what's going to work.
Absolutely. And then I found a yeast strain that produces lactic acid during fermentation.
Does it
and-
start with a B?
It's L,
Okay.
actually.
I was
but,
just thinking, was it Brixalis or whatever that
No,
one? That
it's
one
a
used-
different. I don't know. I forget the actual Latin name for it, but it's what is it called? East something. I could probably look it up and tell you the details. But regardless, but it ferments like a regular ale, but it produces lactic. And I was like, oh, that sounds perfect. Because when you're talking about bugs, Brettanomyces, and some of these other things, they can literally turn every beer in your brewery into a sour.
We heard that.
Oh no, it's
I'm saying,
so-
we if you're going to dedicate a line, some of those wild yeast, that's the only
trouble.
thing.
That's trouble. And most big scale breweries actually have separate facilities. They do sour. So like Wicked Weed in Asheville, North Carolina, They do a lot of sours, and they have completely separate
Separate area. Yep.
locations.
You got to have a
And
separate
their
thing.
trucks won't deliver in between each one. They're dedicated to each specific
Because
production
those
facility.
different strains can cause infections.
and it's bad.
And you can't get rid
no,
of it.
you can. You literally would have to strip all your steel down to steel, and anything that's rubber, plastic, would have to be replaced, and then you'd have to like run specific chemicals through there just to kill any kind of microbes. But
I caught another. I was going to do a root beer moonshine a long time ago, so I still have the root beer extract.
Let's do it.
And I was like, how can I make a hard root beer?
easy.
Well, he said it's easy, but again, if I'm going to put it on my tap, it better be the only keg and tap with that root beer. He said with that root beer extract, you're not going to get. It's kind of like that. You're not going to be able to get it clean.
That's not necessarily true.
I'm not going to take the fucking time to clean it.
I do that. Well, I make homemade root beer for the restaurant.
Okay.
Ooh.
So it's not something that's like listed as
So root beer or hard root beer?
No, it's just regular root beer.
Okay, so
but
I'm gonna
but you're talking root beer is easy because it's sugar anyways.
Yeah.
All you do is just ferment it
ferment it out.
with a clean, like you could use like a champagne yeast, like you would do like
Yep.
a wine or a mead, something a neutral yeast strain. You could even use American yeast. What was that?
USO5.
USO5, or you could use
Safe
a liquid.
ale.
Yeah, absolutely. It eat right through it. You can have, and you got a hard.
I'm like, so that Keyser up there's got 6 taps. I'm like, oh, I could keep 1 5-gallon corny and tap for hard root beer.
Sure, absolutely.
So it might be something we do this winter.
Why don't
Make
we
a
do
hard root beer.
It's good. I mean, our root beer is great. I use the Shanks.
Okay.
So that's out of Lancaster. They make great extract because I used to use. They used to have Zatarans. You've heard of Zatarans,
Yep.
like the Louisiana. So they used to make a root beer extract, and that's what we used, and it was amazing. It was good stuff. And then McCormick's bought out Zatarans and then killed the line.
Oh, man.
So then I had to go through a bunch of little small batches,
Yeah.
and then I found Shanks. I was like, well, Shanks is out of Lancaster, and
Support local.
Yep, absolutely. It's Mennonite, but they make great extracts. So I've been using that. It's actually cheaper, and I can get it at Miller's right over by Hanover.
Yeah.
I could just literally drive in where I was going out to the homebrew store out towards Mechanicsburg.
Oh, you're talking about Scotts and Brothers.
Scotts and Brothers, yeah.
That's where I go once in a while,
Yeah,
too.
but all they had was the regular, whatever base homebrew stuff, the Best Buy, Best
Yeah,
Brew,
the
Best
Best-
Brew.
yeah.
Best Brew. And I
I
was
thought
like,
he was going to say Stony Run.
No, that was Bailey's.
Bailey's.
are they closed now?
Yep.
Okay, does he still have the brewery? Or is he just
No,
he closed down
So
everything?
Stony
Horse.
Run was sold to Sign of the Horse.
Yeah.
Got it.
So it is all one space now.
Got it.
So speaking of Sign of the Horse, Brett had a beer in there on their tap.
Yeah, they brewed my Scottish Wee Heavy.
It's awesome.
They talked about doing it again, but I don't think they did yet.
Not that we know about.
Not that we know about.
That's one style I have. I've done a lot in homebrewing side. I love doing those, Scottish.
I've had pretty good success
60
with-
shilling, 90 shilling, doing
Yeah.
all those. The Wee Heavy specifically.
Yep.
Have not done one on this brew system. I want to. I mean, there's a bunch of styles that I want to do.
Like I said, when you got here, I have an ESB that I do.
Yep.
The first time I did it, spot on.
Okay.
Flavor, profile, everything.
Yeah.
I actually compared it to the Forest in Maine ESB. Now theirs was clear because professional brewer. I'm doing it on a Brewzilla 5-gallon thing, but palette, color, everything was the same. I just brewed it this year.
That looks good.
Well, that's the cream ale.
Yeah, that looks good though.
But the second time, numbers were off to start, so it could have been the grain, could have been a lot of things, but it's not what it was. So I'll try it again. I like ESBs.
I want to make an ESB. I've done some small batching with it. I just haven't gone to full scale. I just haven't been happy with the product either. So it might be one of those styles I just
We may
really
have
gotta
to
hone in,
share a recipe and
dial
do a
in.
brew day.
We can do that. I'll have you down. I'll have you down. Like I usually brew Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I know you said you're busy Tuesdays, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays is typically when I'm brewing.
Okay.
And like I said, You don't have to stay for a whole 9-10 hour brew session because that's about what my brew day takes.
Oh, we know it's a long process. Well, we went and brewed that with Sign of the Horse. They did it on their pilot system.
Gift horse too. In the beginning, we went to gift horse.
Yeah, we went to Gift Horse. But yeah, we know what kind of day it is. Yeah. Even on the homebrew side, it's 6 hours.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
For just
I
a
did that
5
for
gallon
even longer.
batch.
So,
And by the time we're done, I forgot to clean up because we had too many beers.
You know what? Not really, because you're. I'd have swore the one beer all you could taste was your cleaning. So I mean, this guy cleans like you wouldn't believe.
what do you use? Star Sand?
Yep, Star Sand.
See, I use peroxide products, so I use like professional peroxide.
I have urinated in it too.
So the stuff I use smells like vinegar.
Okay.
So I smell like vinegar. I smell like pickles all the time. That's just my sanitizer. So,
Well, speaking of, we're
Yeah.
talking about beer. You brought a this not yours. This stout.
oh yes,
Oh, we're going to the stout. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So this is not yours.
this is not mine. This is Founders out of Michigan.
Kind of wiggle that back and
You
forth.
put that in there pretty tight.
So this is their Imperial Stout. So they made this for years and years and years, and then I think it was might have been around COVID or so. You know, that's when a lot of breweries started kind of veering off. I know they sold off too, but they stopped making it. This is one of the best Imperial Stouts made, like standard. You know, this isn't barrel aged. I think they did a barrel aged version of it. But this is just an amazing beer, so I thought I'd bring it shared. This is
We appreciate you sharing it. Now, I've had a lot of Founders, but I don't think I've had this.
Founders is a good one.
Now, I was at their first location when I was at one of the events, and they were talking actually about this.
they did rebrew it.
Yes.
Like I don't know if it was last year or year before. They did like a 4-pack, and it was part of like their limited series because they didn't do it for like 3 years, and everybody was pissed off at them. Like, why are you not? You have the best Imperial Stout. Like, you know, this is most people liked it better than their KBS. You know, and they're like, you need to make this. And so, you know, we'll see. But I thought I'd bring it. Like I said, I think this is a 2015.
So this is
10
a
years
a
old.
well-aged beer. So here's to the Founders Imperial Stout.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I just Founders. The
It
smell
smells
alone, I love it.
Yeah. I don't know. Founders always has like that oaty smell behind it.
It's chocolate. It's just
Yeah, right.
dark,
It
bitter
is.
chocolate.
That is a sweet dark chocolate note. Now, because of that,
That coffee in there too at the end.
I think I'm getting a little bit of a raisin flavor out of
Okay.
it. And everybody's palate's different. They're
Sure.
going to get something different. And it might be the mixture of the
Yeah.
coffee and the chocolate that's giving me that raisin note. But
I
that's,
just-
smooth.
You
That
know,
raisin is a
I just help you
aftertaste.
brewing. I don't understand the theories behind it. I got to take the time to learn that.
Oh,
But the first one that we had and this one, the stages to me are just phenomenal. I mean, it stops, the new one starts, it stops, and then they flow together all at once.
And that's why a lot of stouts are, because you can have them really assertive.
Yes.
You know, where they
Yes.
slap you in the face, and then then you have the alcohol. So like, you know, some of these ones are like 15%, and it's like,
Oh, they're the
just
ones we
straight
love.
alcohol. And I do. I mean, I love the Goose Islands. I love the, you know, like
Yeah,
some of
Bourbon
the-
County. Up there since the 30th
So,
anniversary.
I almost
one.
brought a 2015 bourbon, but I was like, he's probably had that. That's plenty. Like, this is one of those ones I was like, this is a rarity.
This
They
is
didn't
that's
make it.
so we appreciate you bringing this.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Yes.
So this is like you said. It'd be cool to sit here on Veterans Day, drink some beer, talk some shit,
That's right.
get to know what John Porter is, not the beer. Find out his backstory and all about Center Square Brewing and the Altland House Pub and Grill up there in Abbottstown. And I'm sitting here. You gave us some literature.
I
Yes.
got to interrupt.
No, you can
So
interrupt.
for a grunt, did you ever go to Guantanamo Bay?
I did not go to Gitmo. I
Okay.
knew a lot of guys that were down there. So our we call it security forces.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Yeah,
infantry
yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
but they do like the same guys that do like the embassy, like
Okay.
security. So, they're all infantry guys. But then they go to a school, so they guard Kings Bay, Georgia.
Yep.
the sub bases. So they also do Bangor, Washington.
Yep.
Those are your nuke bases. So they do security there. And then some of those guys get picked and we're going to Gitmo and doing security down there as well. So Leeward, Windward, I knew plenty of Marines. I served with them as, NCOs and where else. They were like, yeah, they love Gitmo. It was a whole experience.
We were the first ones down there with the Haitians.
Okay.
And I'll never forget that because we refused to put air conditioning because back then it was tents. It's not the city that it is now.
Yeah, it's tent city now.
And one of the Marines threw a bottle, hit our command sergeant major right square in the head. And there was an old volleyball court, and he's screaming. Got the one, every Marine that wasn't on post or on duty.
He was in the barracks.
Side by side. I learned how to fight.
Yeah.
That was the day I learned how to truly fight.
Yeah, that's those are the experiences,
Yeah.
especially as young. You get away with that stuff. And then when you get older, it's kind of all politics. But
And you had mentioned your time in boot. I mean, it's a mind game. First couple days, I was like, "What the fuck did I do? I got to get the hell out of here." And then once you get your mind right,
yeah, like
your
I said,
time, it goes like that.
I think it depends on what mentality you have in. So, like, I kind of had the military experience and with the JROTC, like doing that all the time, discipline, marching, like those things weren't new to me. I was also born in the water. My dad was a big water skier, so I was born in the water swimming. So swimming wasn't a big deal to me. So I also ran. I could run back then. I was running 6-minute mile. Not the fastest, but so running PT was not a big deal for me.
Yeah.
So
I hated it.
yeah, that was an issue I had. So I wasn't worried. So, and I was loud, and I had the command leadership of being in our JROTC. And like I said, I kind of mimicked the Marine Corps while I was in, even though I was an Army JROTC. And so, like, everything we did for, like, the drill team was mimicked around the silent drill team, like, all the moves. And so I had all that. So it was kind of it was more fun for me.
It was fun.
And I made it a challenge to the drill instructors. Like, I just, because like I said, I was a stud then, and I was like, you can't kill me.
Yeah.
And they're like, and they would try.
I know that myself.
They would try. And they actually had drill instructors come from other battalions. And they're like, you can't kill him. We can't kill him. You can't kill him. And they're like, look me up and down. And I mean, I was like 140 pounds.
You weren't Private Pile, were you?
Dude, I was 140 pounds. I was skinny. Like, I was like, if it went between that pole right there, I'd disappear for a minute. You know what I mean? So, but you couldn't kill me, and I didn't care. So, I mean, I could tell you boot camp stories. There's plenty of those. So it wasn't that big of a deal to me, you know. And
I loved every aspect of it.
yeah, I mean, I was a squad leader. I did, like in boot camp. I would have been guide, but there was some politics behind it. The guide was a college kid, older, different demographic than me. So he was going to be the honor grad. Even though he was an integrity violator, we won't go there. He stole like crackers from the chow hall or something. Lied. They were like, "Who's got crackers? You got crackers?" No. And he ended up having crackers in his pocket. But so and my like I said, my best friend went a week before him, and he was the honor graduate. And then I graduated. I was a squad leader, but I wasn't the honor graduate. I was the high shooter, and I was the high PFTer, like PT.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't the honor grad. So yeah, it was a little frustrating.
The sit-ups killed me. I could not do sit-ups. I did the bare minimum.
Yep,
in
we were
2
doing sit-ups
minutes.
then. Yeah, this
I
was
could
before
not
crunches.
I could not do sit-ups.
Now they do planks.
Yes.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, they're doing planks. And then, Army, they do all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah.
You guys are doing all kinds of weird stuff.
It's starting to turn back a little bit, though, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing a lot of combat fitness tests because, like,
Yeah.
in the Marine Corps, we have both. So you have your physical fitness test, and then you have a combat fitness test, and they're separate. So usually you do your physical fitness test early in the year, and then later in the year you do your combat fitness
That's
test.
why my Marine buddies always joke with us Army guys. Army stands for ain't ready for the Marines yet. And I just tell them to go fuck themselves.
I don't know. come 10th Mountain, we
Yeah,
took on-
you're a 10th Mountain Infantry. That's pretty hardcore.
Well,
there.
I love the Army. I mean, especially being in combat. I serve with multiple
You have
infantry
to, yeah.
battalions, so they get attached to us. Like we're the main command out of Baghdad was like Army general. So you had an Army 4-star, and then you had multiple 2-stars and 1-stars that ran the divisions, the lower elements that ran AORs, area operations, and then you'd have Army units within that underneath Marine Command, and vice versa. So, like most of our training regiments are on Army bases, so you get used to it, And I worked with some hard dudes.
There,
The 506th were amazing dudes in Ramadi, and
You talk shit at the bar, other than that,
Yeah,
brotherhood.
it's-
I'll give them
It's a
this.
brotherhood.
I'll give them this. The Marine Corps did it right.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, 8 months max, unless you're with a higher command. If you were with like regiment and above, it was 12 months.
Right.
We're not going to we're not going to keep these guys here. I was talking to Army guys that already been there 18, 19, 20 months, and they're like, we got another 6 months.
yeah, it was
And
I just watched a documentary on
18 or 24 months.
those guys are
deployment.
burned out.
Well, they went, I'll call it medium term, then they went super long term, and then they went totally backwards to very short term, which they were doing entire cohorts. So there was no learn. It was
You got
unfortunately
time.
there was no teaching.
No.
So it was all new.
It takes 2 months,
Yeah.
2 to 3 months to even like start to have situational awareness.
Yeah.
And by the time that you're kind of trying to make momentum, you're trying to make moves or whatever you're doing, whatever the objective is, and then it's like time for another unit to come in and rip in with you, and then now they're learning. It's like so it's this concept. But I mean, I guess, but with the Army, like we had guys that were coming from Mosul and had been in country 16, 18 months, and now they're coming into Ramadi, one of the worst places in the country.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is the end of your tour? Like a whole new AOR? Like, they hate you. Like...
As far as deployments, I was in the Army Reserves for 8 years.
Yeah.
I can't complain. I've been to Germany, Holland, and France, but I was never deployed actively. So I can't relate to what you guys are talking about. But I can relate on some aspect of it because we all chewed the same dirt to
Sure.
get there.
Absolutely.
And there has been times where we went from a supply unit to a forward support unit attached to the 82nd Division. Laundry, renovations, and bath. Back in 93, I think Clinton wanted to demilitarize and re-sanction a bunch of units. We got re-sanctioned to a Tier 1 status. Lost a lot of good NCOs. They're like, fuck this, I'm not doing this.
Well, see, I had that issue. I had Clinton, too. And mine was my first deployment. Like I said, I went to Okinawa for my first deployment. I was with the 31st MEU. And if Netflix just put out a series called Marines, and it's all about the 31st MEU and like them picking up and training, and then they didn't really show the deployment because it's OPSEC, really couldn't. But that was the unit I was with. So at the time, we weren't at war, and you probably remember this. This has been 99. East Timor broke away from Indonesia. And so the Indonesians were, they were getting into it a lot. There was a lot of slaughtering and stuff going on there. So we got sent down there for it. Bill Clinton was the president of the United States, and he said, no ground troops.
Yeah.
I'm an infantry guy. That's what the definition of ground troop is.
Yeah.
So the main reason we went down there with the flagship was because it had heavy helicopter support with the CH-53s, the Super Stallions. So they're able to move heavy loads. So we were there to run TRAP, which is tactical recovery of aircraft personnel. So if a helicopter crashes, we go up and destroy the aircraft and find the pilot and bring him back, right? That was the only reason we were there. So all the non-infantry guys were going off the boat and getting special duty and hazardous duty pay.
Yep.
We were sitting on ship not getting anything, just baking in the sun off the coast of of Indonesia,
Yeah.
playing games and doing like a 3-day cycle of train, stand by to run a trap mission, fully loaded out with the rockets, the missiles, and everything that we take with us, deload, unload, and then we'd have like a day off. And it was like 3 days for, I think it was like 2.5 months.
Isn't that the
And-
military?
Yeah.
Hey, let's do this, tear it down, and let's do it again.
But you said something very important there, because before Desert Storm started, the evening Desert Storm started, we were keeping peace between Egypt and Israel, the MFO mission. And they had, I don't even remember what the technical term was, but we did an obstacle course, we did a 100-mile road march, and then we had to do the obstacle course again. We're sitting there laying on Mount Sinai, and all these B-52s and stuff go overhead. Then you're at war now. You know, this is just,
Yeah.
you know, between us guys. And we don't have any weapon, we don't have any ammunition for you. It's rubber bullets. And we're like, because our outpost had the ammunition.
Sure. No, absolutely. I mean, you got to think about it. Even, the first, not the Gulf War.
Yeah.
Because that was a little bit different, Gulf War, and I know
Yeah.
a lot of Gulf War vets. But the invasion of Iraq,
Yeah.
we moved so fast. We were advanced of the supply train. There was no supply train. So guys were cut off. And I know of Marines who died because there was not access, and we did not have the ability to
Absolutely.
pick guys up. You were too far forward. And
That was almost a blitzkrieg.
it was. I mean, you're talking a matter of a week. They're in Baghdad. It's like
That's when the media
insane.
started going to hell.
Yeah.
So, and we had, matter of fact, our unit, they actually had, I think it was one of the Rolling Stone guys with them. Was it the same guy that did the, what was the Generation Kill? Wasn't him, but there was another guy that was, a media guy. So he did a whole story on it, because my unit that I ended up going to Iraq with, because I went to OAF2, so I went there in 2004. The unit I was with were the ones that saved the POWs. So you had the pilots that shot down. Then you had all the minus Jessica Lynch. They took Jessica Lynch separately. She went to a separate location. They kept all the rest of them together. So it was like, so everyone that was in the convoy with Jessica Lynch that survived, and the 2 pilots. Wow. And my unit was the one that actually saved them in Samara.
Wow.
That's
And
awesome.
so it's funny because I get there and I'm like, of course, I'm getting all the stories from the guys that were there.
Yeah.
And I haven't been to combat yet. So now I got all these young bucks, Lance Corporals that were there, and they're the ones that got fly on the plane with the POWs and have pictures and they're in the books. One of my guys is on one of the murals on the side of a building in 29 Palms, like painted on the side of the building. And he was not the greatest of Marines. I had a lot of fun with him, making him dig holes and stuff. But regardless, he was a hero.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just interesting, the timelines, because I mean those guys had no armor. I mean, you had guys that had their welders welding just sheet steel on these vehicles because they were soft skinned.
Absolutely.
They didn't have anything. It's like,
Adapt and overcome.
no, that's all they did.
Yep.
And,
Adapt and overcome.
So, and they got it done.
Yep.
So,
That's interesting.
So, John, tell us a little bit more about Alton House. I mean, we could sit here and bullshit all night, but you
That's
have
what
an
we came
event
here
space
for.
up there. It says.
yes, they have multiple banquet hall, like banquet. I don't need specific seating. It's like like 30 person, so like separate space that you can rent out for parties. They do a lot of like memorials. They do weddings. Like I said, their big thing is catering, so they do a lot of catering. They do offsite weddings. They do a lot of those spaces get used for business meetings.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're serving fucking prime rib and oysters, hell yeah.
But we have two spaces, 2 small spaces for that. Like I said, then they have the pub downstairs, bar. They have a full bar upstairs, full bar downstairs.
That's awesome. Any future plans for you, the brewery? Are they looking to expand, or you got any adapt and overcome ideas that, hey, I'm going to do this beer?
I kind of go with the flow. I'm always trying to create new beers. Like I said, we talked earlier. I'd like to get an ESB done. I'd like to experiment more with sours. Maybe do like a more of what they're asking for, what the people are asking for is.
So do you do a test batch and kind of put it on as a trial to see if it's something you want to brew?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of times I'll do small, and sometimes I'll taste it and I'll know, and if I know, then I'll just brew it. And like I said, they give me the flexibility to where there's not even a question.
That's awesome.
Like all they get is what I order. And like I said, I do all the ordering too. So it goes through our finance office, and I have not ever got a question like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So they've been really good about that. And like I said, as long as the beer's going out, they're getting good feedback. And the biggest things for me is like the festivals, like the Yorktoberfest. I used to do 3 festivals a year. I haven't done Gettysburg yet. I've been kind of looking into that. I used to do Hanover. I used to do the Snacktown. And then they destroyed it. So, like, they used to do it, and they used to actually pay us to go there, just like with the Oktoberfest. They give us a stipend.
And we just found out with, doing the recording with Matt and Kate. Yep. We knew that, I didn't really know what that stipend was, but they explained it to us. They're paying you to bring your beer there.
Yeah. It's a minimal fee.
Yeah.
And then as long as we, they want us to bring like 6 quarters of product. We don't ever go through that much. So, but they'll give us, like a 300, 250, just depending.
Didn't she give us hell because I said we bring our own cups?
Yeah.
And she said, we want to know who's filling them.
Yeah.
I think I got yelled at this year for overfill because they got bigger cups this year. The glasses were bigger this year than the year before.
We didn't get them this year.
Well, we normally come with our big solo cups.
Yeah, because I mean, like the year before, they were super tiny.
You
like
actually
smaller.
have one sitting right
that's
here.
a Yorktoberfest glass.
Well, that's the wine glass.
Is it the wine glass?
That's the wine glass.
And this is our representative glass for us.
Yeah,
We like to bring-
I bet. I would love to fill those. I don't mind. Like I said, I brought 6 quarters of beer. And I'm like, let me pour it. I think I went through maybe put it all together a quarter and a half maybe of total beer.
What was your feedback at Yorktoberfest?
I always get good feedback,
Okay.
and that's hard.
That's good.
I look at Untapped too, and I try not to because it could be biased. But if somebody writes, something like significant, like I take it to heart. Like I don't take it hard. Because like I said, especially Untapped is unrelenting.
It's social media.
Well, it's not even just that. It's somebody will go on there, and for instance, we said West Coast IPAs, right?
Yeah.
And they can't stand them.
But yet they're
And
going
they
to
hate bitterness.
They're going to give you a 1 star.
1 star, 2 star, disgusting. And I'm like, you don't like it. And I'll go to their profile, and I'm like, you don't like IPAs.
Yeah.
Don't rate them. Just check them in. Just check the beer in.
Yeah, we learned
And
that
that's
a long
it.
time.
Yeah, we did learn that a long time.
Or give them all 5s. That's
Yeah.
fine too. You know what I mean? But like, so you have to be kind of unbiased. Now, if somebody really writes
And
on Untapped, I appreciate that.
And that's what we'll do. Like I said earlier, they're like, if it's something I don't particularly care for, I'm going to check it in. I'm going to rate it.
Yep.
But if I rate it lower than my normal,
Sure.
I'm going to give you a description of why. Like I will appreciate the beer, but this is why it didn't suit well with me. It's not my style, or I didn't like the flavor profile, but I do appreciate the brewer because it hit all the points.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you.
And
I appreciate every beer.
You're not going to like everything you drink.
No,
Like
no.
every bar you go to, you're going to be like, that's all right. You know what I mean? And that's
chocolate
fine.
cordial sour.
Yeah. Like I said, everyone has their favorite beers, and like I can tell you my favorite beers. I've been to, I've had all the best beers in the world. Like I've had the Tree Houses. I've had,
That's
all
a
the
bucket list
all
for
the,
me.
Oh, it's amazing. You should go there.
Yeah.
I went there during COVID, so the actual brewery was closed, but you had to do the whole drive up, and you pop your trunk, and they just throw a bunch of beer in there. And
Dave loves IPAs.
Oh,
He
yeah.
does.
but there's better companies now. They're doing better in New England's.
Everything.
I've noticed that.
Trillium's available here now. You can get Trilliums at DJs. You can get Trilliums at
I haven't gotten any
over
of
at
that.
Bob's.
Haven't gotten any. of
Yeah,
that
you can get it. And they have pale ales. They have different West Coast. They do it all now. And I think that's what you're kind of seeing too. And but I've seen a lot of those companies that was the niche, was the New England IPA, all dying on the vine. And I've seen a ton of them because they had a huge impact and they got that huge cash flow when everyone was all about it.
Yep.
And they started expanding, building, and then
Boom.
boom.
Yep.
And now they're all closing, like some of the biggest ones. And and unfortunately, because a lot of them taste the same.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a different hop profile. It's like you got to get away from it. Do something more. Like brew me some different styles. Impress me.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I can't talk to bigger than I am. But
This has been fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely fun. Actually, Kevin was talkative tonight.
Well, you yelled. You
Well-
chastised me the last time.
well, I think the military thing always
Yeah.
brings it out.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing for me.
Talking to other vets is always helps.
It's amazing, and I don't get it enough.
It's therapeutic.
And I'll go to reunions, or I might run into somebody. I haven't really got involved with like local VFWs because there's a lot of bad, situations I've heard from those, like a lot of politics involved in
It
those.
is politics.
And and right now politics is so volatile. I try not to talk about it at all. Especially on the job, I don't talk about it. I
Politics
just
and
don't.
religion keep out of the place of business.
Yes.
Or any,
Yep.
keep it away from the dinner table. Like all,
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ben,
but-
any comments you got?
No,
Questions?
this has been interesting. Learning, I'm new, and when you guys talk about brewing and all the different methods and the hops, it's very scientific and it's like way out of my realm. So I'm still learning, and it's cool to hear everyone, and especially you.
Yeah.
You just seem very knowledgeable, and you know what you're doing, and I think that's pretty cool.
And
Especially
that's the fun part of learning beer is it's just like anything. When you learn more about it, you enjoy it more. So it's like when you could just get a random beer out of the shelf, you don't even have to know what the style is.
yeah.
And then when you could drink it and go, I like this. And then you look at what style it is. And then you find out and you read about what style it is. And then, that tells you more because there's history. There is absolute history about beer.
Yes.
You know,
I enjoy it.
It's like the one continuum that has remained,
Yes.
and being part of that is pretty awesome. So,
Yep.
Dave, you've been quiet too.
Dave.
Well, I've been quiet mostly on purpose. I mean, this is Veterans Day. I am not a vet, but we have 3 vets here, and I enjoyed sitting back and listening to you guys talk amongst yourself and talk shop is what you were doing, and there was nothing that I have nothing to put into it. I have nothing to interject, so it was just enjoyable to sit back and just let you guys take over. I enjoyed it.
Good.
Kevin?
Well, I'm going to start off by busting your son's nuts a little bit.
Here we go.
What did I do?
All
Ball
of those
busting
episodes
time.
we got out there, you got to learn about these beers. I'm old. I can't memorize them. He's got it down to a science. This guy's a genius. Come on, start making this shit. I got to start a kid at the house.
I don't want to go into any
That's
more
all right. I'm
details,
just
but
busting your ass. I'm just busting.
I
your
just like drinking them. That's all I can say.
The second cool thing is that Founders, that last sip I took, raisin flavor.
Yes.
I told you.
That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
I told you.
I wanted to say that. Third of all, thank you, and thank you for your service, and what a true honor and pleasure.
Yeah.
So thank
Like I said,
you.
it's my pleasure. That's what I always have to say, And, we say, hey, thank a vet. I say, buy a vet a beer. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
absolutely right.
Because I tell you what, overseas, I think appreciate it even more because I think I got more appreciation overseas.
Yeah.
Where I went into a pub and we didn't buy a drink.
That's
You
a good
know,
feeling, isn't it?
and that's just like, and we're not even. Of
It
that
wasn't
country.
always that way.
Well, it depends where you go.
Right.
And there was like in Okinawa, there was a lot of bad blood with us and the Okinawans, and rape culture. But there was a lot of that going on. So they don't do that.
And I remember in Germany, I was in a red light district for military personnel.
Yes.
Shouldn't have been there to begin with. Was not a pleasurable night.
And that happens. So, but like my main thing was like just don't. You can thank a vet, but do something good for them. Buy them a lunch, and I've had it happen to me, and I think that's awesome.
And not just on Veterans Day.
No. And I've had it across the
do
board.
it every
They're
day.
listening to a conversation or they see something, and I've had people pick up my tab.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing thing. That's thanking me. You know that
That's
like
exactly right.
you know
Well, before we go, I've been hearing about all these vets being able to get free food and free donuts. Back to that whole episode, like,
You're gonna join, huh? You're still young enough.
Yeah, you can still sign up, Ben.
I really thought about it before I hit 20. I thought about joining the Marines, but I haven't heard anywhere on any radio stations or any advertisements of free beer for a vet. I think that should be a thing.
Well,
that's a law thing. That's a federal thing too. Like
that's LBC. That's
Well,
LCBC.
we could give beer away. You can give beer away. You just can't like discount beer. That's like one thing, and like you can do a $3 pint night.
Yeah.
But you can't like do 50% off for veterans. You can't
Right.
so
Okay.
so you go to like
Interesting.
a chain restaurant. It's probably easier for them to give it away if you could by law. But these guys got to work hard to make their living. You just can't give stuff away like that.
John, it's been an absolute pleasure.
I appreciate you having me,
has
guys.
Thank you for your service. So tell us about this last beer.
All
This
right,
is your special. This is a homebrew, you said.
Yeah, this was actually a homebrew. I think this was 2021. I brewed this for a competition for my homebrew, the homebrew club I was in, and it was a competition we had was Eisbach, which is it's ice distilled, which technically is illegal. That's why a lot of companies don't do it because it's actually considered distillation. So basically, what it is you freeze the beer, and when you freeze the beer, this is post fermentation. You freeze the beer, and then what ends up happening is your water freezes first, right? And then you pull off the liquid off the ice, which obviously it gets rid of that water, so the alcohol goes way up.
Way up.
So I think this was 9% before I froze it, and then it was 11. So I did the math on it. So 11%. But like I said, this was a competition just between my homebrew club. We all put in $50, and then we had a friend of ours who lived up in New England. He ended up picking up bottles of Utopias, the Sam Adams Utopias, and the winner of the homebrew competition got the bottle,
And you got it.
and I won. So, but this is my version of the Eisbach.
So if you're out there, John, thank you for being here. Let's raise a glass with John Porter and Center Square Brewing and the Alton House Grill
Come see
Club.
us.
And let's all be bonded by beer.
Cheers.
Cheers.